Oh hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share. If you have any question regarding this video or any other video that I've posted in the past, please write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com. It is easier for me to answer you through email. If you have any comments, suggestions or recommendations, I would love to hear from you. Recently, a viewer wrote to me and asked me what is actually going on during stir fry. What's the chemical reaction in this cooking process? This diagram tells the entire story. I'm going to break it down for you and explain it further. At the first part of the cooking process, it is under boiling point, which is 212 degrees. Nothing much happens. Most of the chemical reaction take place between the temperature of 250 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. During this temperature, a molecule on the cell surface, the food, interact with each other to form what is known as flavor molecule. And this chemical reaction is frequently known as the Maillard reaction. And when the temperature goes above 330 degrees, any sugar in the food ingredient will be caramelized. And when the temperature in the wok exceeds 400 degrees, the food ingredients will be burned. In summary, this diagram provides a description of the chemical process occur during stir frying. Start out with the Maillard reaction, which occur at a temperature between 250 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is why we need oil for stir frying. And then when the temperature goes about 330 degrees, the sugar molecule on the surface of the food will caramelize. And finally, when the temperature goes above 400 degrees, food will start to char. It is when all these reactions occur during stir frying, it's believed that it will create the best flavor. And this flavor often known as wok chi. In today's video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create this set of chemical reactions to result in the best flavor for the stir frying. First of all, we need oil to stir fry because oil will allow the food temperature to reach the Maillard chemical reaction zone, which is between 250 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So I heat the oil to that temperature, and when I add the food ingredients into the wok, the temperature will drop almost immediately. As you can see, I have some oil film initially, but now all the oil film pretty much all gone because the shrimp reduced the temperature of the oil. It will take a little while for the oil to go back into the temperature. However, it is important to keep in mind that the higher the heat that you have, the faster the temperature will go back to the Maillard temperature reaction range or higher. This way, it will allow you to cook as fast as possible. This shrimp has been coated with a thin layer of cornstarch, and therefore it will immediately start to form a crispy layer. And in fact, when the temperature gets high enough, because the cornstarch contains sugar, it will caramelize. And therefore, there's an advantage to start the oil as hot as possible because it will cook the food faster and the temperature will not drop as much. Now, the next step, I put some green bean into the wok. And this is followed by some addition of broccoli. Now, I add both of the broccoli and green bean together because they take about the same amount of time to cook. And of course, right away, the temperature of the oil drops almost immediately. But however, as I stir fry the content, you notice that there's almost no oil left on the surface of the wok. The reason is that the broccoli ferret are able to absorb the oil very quickly. And without the oil serve as a buffer, the surface temperature of the wok gets very hot. At this point, actually, the food starts to burn. So I add a little bit more oil, make sure that I keep the temperature relatively low. And next, I add some yellow squash to the wok. This is followed by the addition of purple cabbage. Both the yellow squash and the purple cabbage serve as secondary ingredients to this dish, so I only add a small amount, whereas the broccoli and the green bean are the primary ingredients, and this is the reason that they are present in a larger quantity. You notice that there's a lot of steam coming from the wok. Now this is not oil. This is steam because of the high temperature of the wok, causing any moisture in the food ingredients to evaporate. Again, the bottom surface of the wok is relatively dry with almost no oil at all because the food ingredients have absorbed most of the oil. The end result is that again, the surface temperature of the wok becomes very high. If I now check the temperature of the bottom surface of the wok using a laser temperature sensor, I probably will find the temperature exceed 500 degrees Fahrenheit. At this temperature, the food ingredient will char. Without oil in the wok, the temperature will continue to rise. Next, I add some romaine lettuce right at the end. For this dish, I use many different kinds of vegetables. I add them in different order based on how long I want to cook them. For the romaine lettuce, I want to be cooked only very briefly. Next, I'm going to season the dish with 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce and 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce. This combination of oyster sauce and hoisin sauce will create a light teriyaki flavor. This combination of oyster sauce and hoisin sauce is the go-to seasoning strategy because both my wife and I really like this flavor. So as the hoisin sauce and the oyster sauce coat the food ingredients, they start to caramelize because I do not have much oil at the bottom of the wok. Both of these sauce contain a small amount of sugar, although hoisin sauce contains a higher level. This combination of oyster sauce, hoisin sauce, and soy sauce is my basic seasoning strategy. Sometimes I alter them depending on the food ingredients that I was cooking. Right now you can see a lot of steam coming from the wok. I intentionally not to add any oil because I want the temperature at the bottom of the wok as high as possible. This will cause charring of the food ingredients. Using this cooking method, I was able to create all the 3 different kinds of flavor: the Maillard reaction flavor, the caramelization flavor, and then now the charring flavor. I add small amount of water to the wok to the area where the sauces or food ingredients has burned and stuck, and then I use the wok spatula to scrape them off. Some cherry tomatoes will be the final ingredients to add to the wok. I add the cherry tomato right at the end because I do not want them cook them too much. And now the dish is done. I turn off the heat and I did a quick taste test. I decided I'm going to change the flavor a little bit by adding a teriyaki sauce made by a company known as Kinders. Now the reason I add this sauce because it has an unusual flavor to it, and this allows me to make the flavor of the dish more complex. A lot of these are very much based on intuition. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. This dish is a good demonstration that I take the entire cooking process through all the different stages as listed in this diagram. I start out to cook the food at the Maillard temperature reactions. That's when I have oil present in the wok. And as I use less oil, or as the oil being removed, the temperature start to rise. And first it go through the caramelization temperature, and then finally it reach the temperature that it will char the food ingredients. As you look at this dish, it is evident that the food ingredients has been charred because of the high temperature of the wok when the oil is absent. Because of the charring, the dish actually has a light smoky flavor. So by understanding the different stages of what goes through during stir frying, you can control the temperature so that you can create different effects. As you will find in professional kitchens, the cook constantly manipulate the temperature while they cook. Now in professional kitchens, the temperature of the stove is very high, or in order to cause charring in the most speedy way, the cook actually introduce a flame directly into the wok by using a method known as flambe. The addition of alcohol is a good way to set the food, so to speak, on fire. It is believed a stir-fry dish tastes best when you have chemicals from the Maillard reaction, when you have caramelization of the sugar, and also when you have charring of the food ingredients. And therefore, once you understand the different principles behind the chemical reaction occurred during stir-frying, you can control your cooking in such a way to achieve the desired results. I hope this video provides you an understanding of the chemical process take place during stir-frying. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine using my fast cooking system, which will allow you to cook with practicality, efficiency, and creativity. If you would like to learn more about the fast cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.